Hello and welcome to all of you life learners, and thanks for tuning in. So, we always have questions for you at the beginning, and today it's how do you feel about your sense of smell? Now, we haven't asked that before. And how do you rank your taste? And what about selling? And how in the world do all of these come together for today? Well, for you YouTube viewers and audio listeners, thank you and welcome to episode number 307 of the Business of Life Masterclass podcast here in season 8. So for listeners and viewers both, we are asking you to think about the last time you had a good smell around you, and we hope it was recent. And when did you note your very own great taste? Since Barb and I are all about moving through life in style and with taste, today's episode of the Business of Life Masterclass is on having a sense of taste with no sense of smell. So hello again, everyone. Debbie Lundberg, Performance, Mindset, and Resilience Coach with Presenting Powerfully.
Everyone, Barb Zant here, media sales leader and founder of the lifestyle brand blog, The Stay at Work Mom. So Debbie, who is our guest today who can show us all the good ways for taste and smells?
Well, Barb, he is a media guru. So, of course, I know you know him and have known him for a long time. He's an expert in his field. He's married to Barbara, and that may come up later in the show when we say a little something about that. The father of 2 boys. Gavin is 19, a sophomore at UCF at the time, and Reese is 17 and a junior at Indian Rocks Christian School. So we are really putting the frame on this time-wise. Additionally, our guest is a board member of the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, where they bring so many incredible opportunities to the Tampa Bay area. He oddly and interestingly does not have a sense of smell. He lost it during COVID, but he does have great taste. So please welcome the VP of Sales at iHeartMedia, Mike Barbaro.
Barb, Debbie, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. Mike, welcome. We would love to hear one more thing that is not in your bio, just something that's interesting and cool, but we will tease more on it later. So this is just a tease. What story could you tell us about?
Okay, I lived with 10 people for 10 months.
Oh, I can't wait to hear more on that. Maybe that was in your college days. I don't know. We will hear more for sure. So you were invited today on the Business of Life Masterclass for your ability to make change and inspire others to do the same. Since you have listened to our podcast, please share briefly what specifically made you want to be on the Business of Life Masterclass.
Yeah, sure. I will tell you, you guys have real local leaders who tell their stories about how they help other people change their lives. I mean, it's simply put, these people live in our area, they affect our area positively, and they affect the lives of others, which I think is the ultimate game changer.
Thank you for your take. I love that on the Business of Life podcast 4. But the podcast 4 is what Debbie's going to get into next. But before we get on that, what is something that you're excited about in your life right now? We're in the middle of July. What would that be?
Well, I have 2 big milestones coming up. 25 years married. I got married on September 22nd, 2001, 11 days after 9/11 in the DC area. And also, I will be 50 years old. So 2 big milestones coming up here soon.
Wow. Well, that is a lot to be excited about. I love celebrating those milestone events in our life. So, as you are talking about that, what is your one song? You are from the music industry, so I'm really excited to hear the music that you're going to talk about today. But what's your life's walk up music? What's that song?
Oh, it's Whitney. It's Greatest Love of All, no doubt.
Well, Whitney Houston, Greatest Love of All is, when you think about Whitney Houston, I'm sure everybody in our Gen X has a memory, perhaps other generations as well. And I think about That's a Spectacular Song, as well as when she sang the national anthem. I mean, it's so iconic. She was iconic and remains in there. So it'll be fun for Barb and me to listen to that music. So wonderful.
Your 25 years of marriage too. That all makes sense why you picked that song.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And of course,
maybe there'll be something about that later as a follow-up.
The Whitney national anthem was here in Tampa, ironically enough.
Oh, there's so many connections. And it is funny that we do have a lot of people from Tampa Bay, and somebody who will be coming on this show right after you is from Dallas. So it's funny how we get a lot in our area, and then we love when people
Yeah.
either move away or introduce us. So, but Whitney Houston, that national anthem, I did not know was in Tampa. So we
Sure.
keep learning. All right, Mike. So now you're educating us on music and milestones. So we're going to move into the podcast four. You know, these are the four questions we ask every wonderful, fabulous guest that we get to have on. So are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
We figured it. The let's go is right there. All right. Number one, you know this. What time do you get up in the morning, and what is your morning routine that you believe really gets your day started right?
So it's 6 a.m. Bobby Bones on US 1035. I'm listening to him. I'm getting ready. I don't have to do much with my hair, so luckily I saved time. My outfits are picked out the night before, so there's no second guessing. Start breakfast, smoothies for my wife Barbara and my son Reese, and then I am out the door at 6:45.
That is a fast turnaround. Now, are the outfits picked out by you the night before? Or
Yes.
there's okay, I didn't know if there was a magic, fashion person who comes in and picks those out. Because you do consistently look stylish. I
Well,
got to
thank
see
you.
Mike the other day, Barb, in pink and white sneakers with pink shirt. I mean, looked phenomenal. I was sporting green, so we were vibing on the Wicked thing. All right. So, Mike, you're fast in the morning, you're efficient in the morning. So what's something other than that efficient morning routine that you believe if other people were to do it, it would set them up for an additional level of success? Sometimes you hear us say this is the special sauce or the extra umph.
Yeah, I think, and this is not easy, nothing here is easy, but to surround yourself with people that can help you make the tough decisions you need to make for changes in your life. Most people know if they want to make a change, they usually know what change they have to make, but it's hard to do it alone. You surround yourself with the right people and they can help you do that. And to me, that is a whole nother level of improvement for
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
That's so true. Renee Scott was on the show, and she talked about having two or three people who are really your own personal. She didn't call it a board of directors, but she called it that group that you could entrust and that you'd ask questions of. And Barb and I have the Awesomeness Squad, so we are in full agreement and love to remind our life listeners. Look, you don't have to have everyone's input, but get a few people you like, admire, trust, and respect, and then go with that decision. Okay,
Yeah.
so good advice so far. Now we're really curious. You've had nearly 50 years of your incredible life and a ton of success, not only professionally, but personally too. So, Mike, who or what has been the biggest influence on your life and your continued focus on really enjoying life? I mean, we see you as someone who thoroughly embraces life. And importantly, what have you done with that influence?
Definitely my parents, Vince and Angie. And I had a severely handicapped older brother who's 16 months older than me, and he passed away about 3 years ago. But when you grow up with a special needs child or brother, it changes your whole perspective. He was our angel. We were blessed to have him for 49 years. And that gives you a different perspective of all issues that are going around, maybe problems. And really, it's an absolute blessing because it teaches you empathy, it teaches you caring, it teaches you, in my opinion, a lot of the characteristics that you need when you're interacting with other people.
So true. And Barb and I both had the opportunity to see some of your posts about those things. And your family pictures brought such smiles because you can tell you all really love up on each other a lot. And that is inspirational. And we happen to be having a guest who follows you. Her name's Tanya Barada, and she has shifted her entire life because she has a child with autism.
Mhm.
And although she was tremendously successful in sales, like your comment that you just said about the empathy, she's changed and now she's authoring a series about kids on the spectrum and how families can work with them. So that really reminded me of how important that is that, some people see it as such a challenge, and I'm sure it is, but you see it as the opportunity it gave you. So thank you for sharing that. All right,
Absolutely.
last question in the podcast four. You know that our series and the master classes we've held already, are about the positive aspects of life and moving through life positively. At the same time, we realize this question goes in a slightly different direction. What is something you see that is perhaps negative or holding people back that if they would stop doing it, Mike, you see that that would propel them to the positive?
Complaining. Now, I will tell you, you can have your day to complain. Something happens to you, take a day, complain all you want, people are there to listen to you. But after that, either change, do something different, or do something about it. It does not help complaining every day and then not doing anything about it to change the situation. I think if more people could do that, it would positively help.
I hope everybody heard that. We call it spit it out, give it up. Like if we see something that doesn't you don't like, and Barb has spent some time with Michael, and I know you know Michael too, and me recently, and we if you see something, you spit it out, then you give it up. You just
Mhm.
get rid of it. So it's important that you said it's okay to do it for a little bit. We're not saying squash it down. And again, you just permeate positive energy and you're so welcoming. And I'm sure, like you mentioned earlier, things are challenging. So quit complain, everybody. Quick complaint and then quit complaining. Perhaps that could be another one of the slogans. So let's go to somebody who I believe rarely complains. Barb, what do you think?
I am totally inspired. So thank you for those inspirational tips. Debbie, our list might look a little different, but a couple things that I'm going to work on 40 minutes. So that is my goal. I am going to get in and out in 40 minutes. And I'm also going to listen to the Bobby Bones show, see how that is. And I'm going to make my husband make me smoothies for at least a week in a row. Let's see how that goes. I'm going to work on that. And then we're doing something on the side and we'll talk about it more maybe in our follow through episode, but that the village of people looking into that. So Debbie, how does your list look? Are you willing to incorporate I'm sure you can get in and out in 40 minutes, but what do you think?
Well, I already listened to the Bobby Bones show. I don't listen to it right when I wake up because I listen to it on the way back from running because of the time. In Tampa, it starts at 6 a.m. And so I do listen to that as I'm driving from Bayshore or downtown, super sweaty, driving back. So I'm in for that. The 40 minutes, I'm gonna encourage you for 40. I'm gonna challenge myself to 20 because I can do it in 40. So, Mike, in order to embrace that, I'm going to push for that. Now, my hair might be wet from sweat, but I'm in for doing it. And I'm gonna change up the smoothies. I'm going to see if Michael will drink a smoothie because I do drink smoothies and I would love it if Mike were making smoothies for me or Michael were making them, but I'm gonna change mine to see if Michael won't have a smoothie and not make this face, about it. So yeah, I'm in. I'm in. We've got a few of those. I'm also gonna listen to the Whitney Houston songs because I admit, as much as I've enjoyed her music over the years, I don't think I've listened to any of it recently. So that's inspired me to do that as well.
We'll do that. And then my outfits the night before. So that is
Oh,
one thing. I did that way back in the day. And I think that would help get me out the door in 40 minutes. So let's see about that. So,
me
Mike,
too.
before we wrap up, we want to hear about 10 people, 10
Mm.
months.
So after Hurricane Helene, my house, my
Or
in-laws' house, and my sister-in-law's house, we sustained a lot of damage. And I know, Debbie, obviously you're still going through it. So all 10 of us moved into my house. 10 people, two dogs, two cats for 10 months. It was like Thanksgiving every single day, and I wouldn't change it for the world. It was an absolute blessing to us to all be in that situation, going through it together, and the learnings and the love that was shared, and just getting along is just it was precious.
yeah, and I'm sure you'll have those memories forever, as will all 10 of you.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So before we wrap up, what's a quick closing statement or a single mantra that our listeners didn't get to hear yet?
Yeah, I think life begins outside of your comfort zone. I've said that. I've lived by it. I try and teach my children that. I mean, that's really it, right? When you're comfortable, Are you really growing and learning as much as you can? Probably not. But the minute you get uncomfortable, oh man, you see a lot of traits come out, a lot of things you think you couldn't do, couldn't handle. So I'm a firm believer, and I don't mean extreme out of your comfort zone, but just keep pushing. And every 6 months, think to yourself, what else could I do differently that could push me out of my comfort zone a little bit more?
Okay, every 6 months. So that gives us something also to keep coming back to. What is something that we haven't done or that we've put off? So, all right. So get outside of our comfort zone. I almost said country zone, but that could be part of it. That could happen. All right. So, this is that last question, Mike. Now, music, music, music.
Mhm.
I can't imagine how many songs you have in your mind. What would be your walk off music? So you're finally done with the 10 months, 10 people, 2 cats, 2 dogs. You're walking into something new. What's that walk off music?
Frank Sinatra, My Way.
Ah,
Yep.
yes. Now, do you sing it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not a good singer, but I belt it.
Okay. Okay. I picture you singing it. Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Mike. I'm inspired.
Thank you guys so much. This has been an absolute joy. Debbie, Barb, you guys are true pros. Congrats, 307 episodes. That is amazing to do it for that long. It's
Thank
just, it's a true testament.
Oh, thank you so much. It means a lot. You're in the industry and we've grown and we welcome any feedback. I hope you know that. So please know, listeners, you can stay connected with Mike on all social media under his name, Mike Barbaro, Barbaro. And the reason we mentioned Barbara earlier is when she married Mike, she took his last name. So she is Barbara Barbaro. So she may be far more interesting and entertaining than Barb and I ever could be. But she's managed this, as we know, 25 years. So congratulations again. You can also follow Mike through iHeartRadio. You can follow Barb and me on Instagram and Facebook at the Business of Life Masterclass. Barb is the Stay at Work Mom, and I'm Debbie Lundberg. Most places, Debbie Lundberg Coach on TikTok.
If you like the insights that you heard today, please rate us 5 stars. We are committed to providing you with 5-star guests just like Mike. Please do provide feedback. Debbie just talked about that. We absolutely implement it. And stay tuned for our follow through next week, where you learn on how Debbie and I did implementing Mike's ideas. So thank you for joining us for this episode of the Business of Life Masterclass for successful people embracing every chance to accomplish and experience all you can in business and in life.
Listen, choose, do. Thank you.
Thank
I got it.
you.
Thank you.
If you have ever thought, gosh, I'd like a collaborator, I wonder what else I could do, it's likely that the answer is a coach. Hi, I'm Debbie Lundberg, Performance and Mindset Coach with Presenting Powerfully. And if you would like confidential coaching to drive you to the next idea, the next role, or even to figure out your own brand, please reach out to us at Presenting Powerfully, 813-494-4438. Thank you.